imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Total protonic reversal.
Protonic reversal.
Protonic reversal with your host, Conan Neutron. Broadcasting from a secret underground lair in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
A gigantic middle finger to everything that is rock about music, rock and roll, and corporate power.
The thing is, though, if you don't laugh, you're going to go on a killing spree with sharpened nails.
Confidence of a hero or a fool. I wasn't exactly certain which.
Could not be more professional.
It means something. It means something. You know, that's my take on it. What's yours?
Protonic reversal.
That's like a science thing, right?
Indeed it is. It is a science thing. It's a science place. It's a scientific fact that we're all up in your face. It is time once again for the one, the only Protonic Reversal. Welcome to it. Special Wednesday edition of this show, Protonic Reversal, because this is someone I'll always make time for. Not immediately. I'm just going to intro the show still. Don't worry. But I'm very excited to have Ryan Christopher Parks of B. Hamilton coming back, talking about their great new record, In Depth, One Can Hope, and whatever other attendant tomfoolery that we're going to be getting into. So very excited for this episode. One of my favorite records of the year. Before we do any of that, though, welcome to Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal. I'm your host, Conan Neutron. A rock and roll lifer that's been touring and recording for 25 years, most known for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Music is a huge part of my life, and I use the format of this very long-running podcast to talk about music with musicians whose work I enjoy and respect, but who may not be household names. This is episode 429. Now, if it's your first time listening to the show, archives of it are available for free. No ads, no sponsors, no kidding, at protonicreversal.com. However, if you want to support the show and get episodes sooner, $1 a month at patreon.com/protonicreversal will achieve that goal. And if you like the show, or even just a single episode, please feel free to like, subscribe on your platform of choice, share it around on the internet, even leave a review. All that helps people discover the show. It beats back the almighty algorithmic overlords. That's just a darn nice thing to do. I want to reiterate the Patreon. We had a bunch of fall-offs because I was committed the cardinal sin of not cranking out podcasts at the Podcast Factory for like 6 weeks because of touring. I get it. It's $1 a month, people. And if you get some value out of the show, I'm not saying you do, consider tossing in on it. The whole idea behind this is like a lot of people, small amount, right? I don't lock anything behind a paywall. I'm not planning on doing any of that. So some people have jumped back in, renewed, jumped back on, went in for the first time. Deeply appreciated. All right, enough grandstanding about that, about making money off of the thing that I do. Oh, how dare I? Very excited, as I mentioned. This is a returning guest. He's returned a lot over the years. I mean, I'm trying to remember what the first time was. Like, it's definitely double digits for being on this episode. Talking about the new 2025 self-titled record, B. Hamilton. One of my favorite dudes, Oakland mainstay, Mr. Ryan Christopher Parks. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, what's up?
Good to have you back.
I think this is my third time.
Yeah, I was trying to. Sometimes I'll start a sentence and I don't know how the sentence is going to end. I'm like, wow, probably should have researched that.
No,
a quarter second of looking up the information before mentioning it.
I mean, you've done 426 of these.
429.
29. That's
yeah,
crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's 11 years, bro.
You're not supposed to remember anything because it's I can't even those 5 EPs we did. I don't remember songs or the names of them anymore. I can't. So that's 25 songs, but you're not supposed to remember 429. How many times people have been on here? No, dude.
Well, some of them had some pretty wild names, so it was sort of you're not going to remember that. Come on, what are you going to do?
Stupid.
Just like the EP name, I would give songs numbers instead of names if I could, but I can't. Whatever. I don't even remember the full title. I just remember.
I don't either.
I think that might have been what you came on for last time. If only there was some way to know.
I checked and I came on for
It was an EP, right? It was one of the one.
I think
Saigon
it was the
Market,
second
maybe?
one. No, it was the second one, which is
Other
I
Lives
don't
of Magic.
remember. I don't remember the name for us.
The one
Other
with the balloons.
The picture of me as a
right.
Marine.
The one with the lottery ticket. Okay. Yeah.
Lottery
yeah,
ticket,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it's-
Right.
I don't know. I think that's completely. I don't expect people to have memories where they're like, now episode 315 where you had the bass player from
Dude,
Super
my guy,
Drag On.
you would be surprised. People like the stuff people remember. I'm like,
That's awesome.
oh, cool.
I think that's how it should be, though, right? I mean, you shouldn't really think.
It's not whatever.
No, someone else should be like aware of it, like, because that means someone's listening. That's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, and it's I'm lucky enough that it happens now that we go out and play and people will come up and they want to talk about the show and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
wait, have a sticker. I got these stickers here.
It's a super like precise world that
Yeah.
you're kind of taking part in. So that's the most interesting thing where it's like I remember I hit you up like one time where it's guys like who owns Rancho de la Luna?
Dave Ketching.
Dave Ketching.
Yeah.
Like Dave Ketching was on it, right?
Yeah. I should have him on again. It's been a long time.
I'm like, oh, Dave Ketching. So it's like that kind of thing of like, oh, desert sessions. Like, holy shit. So it's this kind of narrow lane of
Right.
roll, which is like not narrow at all. Which is hilarious. So.
Well, exactly. If you look from the larger construct of culture, sure. But like I guess I had Ralph from Rye Coalition on, right? Awesome.
Yeah, that's like perfect.
And if you know Rye Coalition, you're like, hell yeah, that's awesome. And if you don't, you're like, what's that?
Totally.
But then I had David J of like Bauhaus and Love and Rockets. It's like, that's a much larger percentage of people that are gonna know who the hell that is.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like all this stuff. Just it's so weird to just keep living in the same kind of world of guitars and drums. Because it's like
Right.
you get older too, and you're kind of like, oh, everything's just a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Ian Miller's in B Hamilton. He plays in Kellenwald City.
Yep.
And
Another former guest of the show, but before he was playing with you.
Totally.
I've known that dude for forever. He was in a band with my ex.
What
actually. It's called Teen Archer.
oh yeah, he's in bands I don't even fucking heard of.
He's in so many bands.
It's awesome.
so
he's
funny.
like
It's
he's
great.
on it, but
No, it is so badass in all of them. But like
It's
that's
insane.
how like this is way before Kowloon City that I met Ian.
right.
And I
And
even sold him like a whammy pedal, like the the red one, the Digitech.
yeah, really.
yeah. I've
Why
like
did he-
bought and sold 5 of those, and I keep being like, oh, this time I'm gonna keep it.
I'm it too, and I put
And
it
I'm
on my
like,
board,
nah,
and
I
I'm
don't
like, I
need
don't
this.
fucking do this.
What do I do with this pedal?
I don't know what to do with any of those things. I just found a distortion pedal I really like. But back to Ian.
Anyway, yeah, back to Ian, who's amazing, and like that's one of the big changes since last time we talked. Is Ian's
Yeah,
playing bass for
exactly.
Pete
Yeah,
Hamilton.
I think we were. Yeah, he wasn't even around. No, it wasn't. But the thing is, like him, like he's in Kowloon City, right?
Yeah.
And those guys are great. Scott is awesome. I give him never any shit about not liking Credence. Makes me
Takes all kinds.
drives me fucking crazy.
Like
but
Steve Albini hated the Beatles too, and it's like, all right, that's fucking,
no, you didn't. Yeah,
that's dumb, but okay.
right. Okay. Jumpsuit wearing motherfucker.
Not to narc out the dead, but
No,
that
it's
was a
fine.
pretty dumb opinion. It's like, okay.
Whatever,
There's
look at-
not a single Beatles song. You don't like Helter Skelter?
I know.
Really?
Beatles got a death toll too. All right. So it's
Yeah.
not-
Well, that's it's true. Okay,
What I did-
Ian
what I
back to
did
Ian
get
Miller.
fucking iced in a garden. So Ian in Kowloon City, and I'm listening to them, and the guitar player John as well, and I'm like, their guitars are like clean. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, very much. So. Yeah.
Right, so it's like I know like they're tuned down to A, and like they have the drums and they play with all these bands, but Ian's actually bringing like the kind of the fire, the fuzz, and then Scott and John, like their guitars are kind of they're clean, and me and Raj, our drummer Raj, it's a symbol. It's weird. Like
Raj can be here, but the symbol could.
Yeah,
so we
symbol.
appreciate the
Exactly.
sacrifice. Yeah.
but it's like they're almost like a Chicago, like a shellac sounding band.
Yeah.
And but they're you just start thinking about like rock and roll, and it's just like there's not that much difference between like B Hamilton and Kowloon. Or
Sure.
whoever.
Especially if you talk to someone who like is really into electronic music or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you're asked to describe the difference. Like, I don't know, it sounds like rock music, man.
I can. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the thing is, like between like B Hamilton, even like Minutemen or Credence,
Yeah,
Kowloon, like it's all the same soup.
Immediately.
You look at the pedal board and you go, oh, okay, I see the amplifier where the knobs are at. Oh, you tune down.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Well,
rock
and that's
and roll is
why
always just the same thing.
People ask like what my band sounds like. It's a rock band.
Yeah,
and people are like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I mean, it's rock music. It's
rock music.
Like what do you want? You need me to give like a prejoinder or a rejoinder after it? No, it's just like it's informed from a bunch of more esoteric nerdy stuff. But like it doesn't matter. It's a rock band, man.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna they're gonna build their own cages,
sure,
stuff
absolutely.
like that. And it's like there's that kind of comic bookification of music that drives me fucking crazy. Where it's like everybody in a band, you're not thinking about like, oh, I need to do this now and I need to do this, take this avenue.
Yeah.
So that comes afterwards. But it's just like when you're actually like I'm looking at my amplifier right now and it's like I could just crank the gain, put on a fuzz pedal, and just be Matt Pike.
Right now it's desert rock now. Okay.
Exactly.
Sure, fine, whatever,
just,
dude.
All this shit is just so similar. It's just crazy how it's like.
Yeah. Well, and part of that's community. Part of it's like self-selection, right? You want to contrast yourself with against the stuff you don't like as much as the stuff you like. But it's also like, dude, Elton John rips. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah, and it's.
Why am I talking about Elton John?
I don't know. It's so weird sometimes. Where it's just like the kind of strata that comes. Well, and it's all just rock. It's all just rock and roll. Like
watch me tie this back to your record because. Yeah. I've listened, as you know, I've been an avid fan since near the beginning, if not the exact beginning, of all of your stuff and all the records, and they all are very different sounding. There's been different eras and epochs of B. Hamilton, certainly with like lineup changes, pre-Raj, obviously now No Macy. It's like that's obviously very different, and it should be noted that on the new record, this is before Ian's not on this record,
no,
but he is playing with you now, so that's notable as well. But this one's got a different vibe than the last one, which has a different vibe from the one before that, which has a different vibe from the one before that. But I went back and listened to them because I do listen to your records for enjoyment, not just because of research purposes. And they all have a distinct identity, but they all sound like you. They all sound like the band. And what type of rock music? It's rock music, man. That's what it is.
I appreciate that a lot.
And I mean that as a compliment. And I mean that in the way that if you think of like a Creedence or a Thin Lizzy or like whatever. It's like it sits nicely with all of those, and it doesn't feel like it needs a special leader card in the record store. This is an outdated reference. But.
I'm not gonna go tit for tat. I fucking hate when people do this on podcasts. But I listened to your newest record, and the thing that I enjoy about it is that it is a rock and roll record from first song to 12th song, and it's not like here's the ballad. Here's the disc. It's just like okay. You got one where you start doing like the swinging tempo.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, great. So it's just like
here's the ill-advised reggae song. I'm not going to narc out whose record that was on, but anyway.
Right. Oh, buddy. But there's something. There's the contrasting thing where it's like, it's real. That's really refreshing to just hear 1 to 12 like fucking drums, bass. The tones are not the same tones, but they're in the same world. Where that's almost like psychedelic now to do something.
No, you're right because it just isn't done, and and if it is done, it's done by these bands that are like they're doing a specific thing. Like again, I don't want to name specific names of popular bands or whatever. Where it's just like, oh no, you sound exactly like Led Zeppelin, or you sound exactly like
it drives me crazier, and maybe I'm guilty of this too. But it's just like oh, that's. Okay, you've done 4 songs, and here's the ballad.
Yeah,
on our new record, here's Douglas, and I'm like, I didn't.
Yeah,
it's not completely planned like that, but I'm guilty of that more than I am of just like, I'm just gonna do fucking 10 songs of rock and roll.
But it does, but it works well when you do it. Like, and there's people that can pull it off, and people that can't. And I've always felt, because that goes back to, a lot of like your earlier records, and I'm thinking. Back to like everything I own is broken and stuff like that. That like it's like no, you have Oakland and Anaheim, right? Like that's a great like bummer in a good way, bummer compliment of a like low key tune, and it sits nicely with like hexagram and countdowns and like the other like rockers that are in there, and it works. And some bands try to do it, it's like, wow, that did not work. Like, please don't do that again. But like, I believe it when you do it. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that's really cool about this record because I think the vibe. I feel like you're hearing a lot of the for lack of a better term, the sort of warp record stuff that like Raj is kind of into. And like I was like, wow, I didn't have this on my bingo card, but this is totally badass. Like I get it.
That is completely fair. That's actually like a big kind of bonding point of me and Raj, because when I was a teenager, I was listening to a lot of like Warp records, Flying Lotus.
Yeah.
Kind of like that always sounded like My Bloody Valentine and Sleep to me. Like there was no this is that and that's over there.
Because the vibe is like it may be a different idiom, but it's it's doing the similar sort of thing.
And a lot of it too is assaulting. Like whether it be with like I still find like Hello Gallo by Noi to be a fucking assaulting song. It's
so
not,
good too. Yeah.
It's great, but it is not this kind of pandering song. Like that I mean the Motorik beat is like the easiest thing to rip off, like to nausea.
Right,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
Stop using that fucking beat. But that song is like
you should apply for a license to use that.
Yeah, exactly. Someone needs money for using that fucking beat.
Exactly. Someone's got to get paid.
It's like using the Nike logo or something. Like stop. But there's this thing of it just keeps going, and that kind of repetition is it makes you feel like you're going insane.
Mm-hmm.
So I find like that kind of that's almost the same as Sleep. Like Hello Gallo by Noi and Sleep are the same songs to me, like
because they're both repetitive. They're absolutely. Well, and there's like it comes back around. Like that shellac song on the second record, right? That's like the 12-minute one.
I gotta listen to that.
No, it's great, and it's like it's hilarious because it's the first song, but it's like 12 minutes long. But it's another one of those ones that like it takes so, and you're like, oh, this is so repetitive. And I've seen people when they first started playing that live, people would just get mad. People were like, what, you know,
which is
great.
Nothing funnier than to make a shellac fan angry is just like that's just top tier. Just like that's like pissing off the comic book guy in The Simpsons or something like that. You're like,
dude,
oh,
absolutely.
buddy.
Yeah. It's easy sport. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but going back to Raj's a huge Boards of Canada guy.
Yeah,
I am too, to some degree.
I see some of those elements, or rather, hear some of those elements in a couple of the songs where they have that kind of that same dreamy almost is almost the wrong term, but it's like sort of like contemplative but insistent kind of thing going on.
And Raj is much more of a sound kind of person. Big fan of synths. I'm not a huge fan of synths. I use them like tools if I need them, and I mainly just use MIDI and stuff like that. But that music taught me a lot about structure, which is something I get my kicks out of experimentation with lyrics and structure. Not so much like, oh, I got a whammy pedal or something like that. But,
the red Digitech one, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I'm looking at my pedal board now, and it's like I have the same DL4 I've used since I was like 16. So
it doesn't change that much. Sure.
No, and it's just like I get a kick out of like doing something. The Elon Musk stuff that I wrote on the last, it's just like shit like that makes me really get my rocks off. And same thing with structure, being like, what if you do 3 verses, have some kind of vamp, and then have an outro that's just a repetition. It's just like, oh, that's cool. And a lot of stuff like with Warp and Flying Lotus especially, and they really taught me that stuff a lot. Aphex Twin, I mean,
Aphex Twin, dude, especially like the classic Aphex Twin stuff where it's like, what is happening? Like, what is the structure of this song? I don't even understand, but it's great.
And you can, just because you have a guitar and you play in a power trio, it doesn't mean you can't do stuff like that. So.
Certainly. And there's a rich history of bands that do stuff like that. And,
totally. And it's
to greater levels of success.
Like leaning into that, and when people like do that tightrope thing, and they take chances like that, like,
and then they bring it back and you're like, okay.
Nice. Right. Yeah, I mean, that's
like,
that's
all right.
just,
Respect.
That's real fun. But yeah, that's but Raj's that experimentation is definitely there from Raj and me to a lesser extent.
I mean, it occurred to me that it's such a unique thing to do that isn't normally ascribed to like the rock medium, right? Which is like when Macy left, like the first thing I thought of was like, oh wow, like I can't even think of what B. Hamilton without Macy's would sound like.
Yeah,
like that's crazy because he was almost like a lead bass player. You know what I mean? Like Mike Watt or something. Not they sound like Mike Watt, but in that way that it's a very dominant thing into the musicality. And I was like, well, the songwriting's there, and I could see it being deployed in different ways. It would just have to be different somehow. But I didn't understand like what that necessarily would be. And then I heard like you do like again, I keep up with all your stuff, the EPs that we talked about, and then also the new ones. It was like, well, there's nothing to say that this can't be deployed like another way.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fascinating to me because for whatever the rock idiom is, there just isn't a lot of that. You know what I mean? Like Foo Fighters are not going to come out and do some Boards of Canada stuff, right? It'd be great if they did.
Yeah, I mean that'd be. I mean, I was just talking to my buddy Dan about Trans by Neil Young.
Oh yeah, I love Trans.
Fucking awesome, dude. It's just like it's fucking great. And then he does that stuff with Devo, and you're like, there's not that big a difference between those two groups.
No, absolutely, and that's
it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, it's all there. You can do whatever you want. But the thing is, adversely, though, like with Macy, it's like I'm never going to change the live band of D. Hamilton outside of a 3-piece. I don't think so. Just because it's quick, it's easy,
right?
And it's just I know what that is. I've always been in 3 pieces.
Not even like have Joel just play keyboards regularly if he would do it.
He would never do that. He would fucking never do that. But I mean, that'd be cool.
Juice ain't worth the squeeze on that one either.
No, that ain't ever happening. But that's not happening. But it was. It's just I just know it, and I don't even playing with another guitar player. It's like, do I turn down? Should I turn up? Or it's just like, should I get out of the way? Because I always end up getting out of the way when it's like you actually need to go and be the person. So I just don't want that dynamic. And with Macy always when Macy took off, it was like, okay, he always had a thing about taking away notes, which is a good push and pull between me and him because I want all the colors, I want all the notes. I love 16ths. I it's all over the record on Sunny Day.
Yeah.
It's just 6 minutes of 16ths in your fucking face. 16th notes for
for the non-musicians in the audience.
Yeah, but when Macy left, it had to change. So it's like it just kind of I kind of leaned in. Me and Raj talked about it, where it's like more colors, more whatever path you want to go with it. Let's just do that. It's like a song like On a Different Day is the most kind of textbook song on the record where. It's clearly not like the other ones, but
and let's actually get into it, the song by song, because I think they are interesting and it's worth exploring.
Can I say one thing before that?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's one thing that it's kind of confusing.
Sure.
To anybody, the EPs were made and recorded in 23 and 24, and this was some of the stuff was written on this new record in 2018. And during the pandemic, so this record actually in the canon of whatever B. Hamilton,
right,
was made before the EPs.
Got it. Okay, so wow, it's like some sort of Tenant situation or something.
Yeah, and it's
Tenant.
Yeah, I mean, and for all like I get more angry at myself for this shit than anybody could. So
by the way, I love how Chris Nolan's like, oh, it's a palindrome. I'm like, all right, nerd, sure, we get it. Like
that long.
Congratulations.
That was too long. Get out of here.
It's
too British of a word.
Palindrome. Fuck off. Anyway. Yeah. fine movie, but I was like, okay, I like it a half star less because you said that.
Yeah. I don't even think I've seen some of his movies now. I'm like, I don't know, dude.
It's the most. Like having like strong opinions about Christopher Nolan movies is like people use that in place of a personality. You know what I mean?
He did the Batman movies, right?
He did do the Batman.
I
like
awesome.
those movies. Those are good. Yeah, look, now we're talking about Christopher Nolan. So
the thing is,
the trap.
This sounds pretentious, but I like working in pop forms. Like I don't like doing shit where it's like you don't get it. Like I didn't go to art school. I'm a dumb kid that learned this shit from like his dad having a guitar. Yeah. So it's just it's once again, if I want to do stuff, it'd probably be lyrically that it makes me laugh, like on some Norm Macdonald kick or whatever. But like, it's when it starts when you need a podcast to watch a movie or something, or like I'm like, or you need to read a book on it. I'm like, I don't know.
You need supplemental materials to understand the art. Then you're maybe you should reconsider what you got going.
And all the experimentation, this from music too, where it's like that always gets leaked down to something kind of more palatable.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a tangent.
No, that's fair. And and also I personally feel like the B Hamilton is definitely. It's funny we already invoked Creedence earlier because it's like there is a CCR sort of mentality to it. Although I think that there's on the B Hamilton stuff, I think it's a little more like CCR is CCR because it existed within that framework at that time.
Yeah.
Would John Fogerty have made a synth record? I don't know. Maybe he was too busy like being banned from making records at all for like years, so it probably wasn't on his game plan.
Yeah.
But I think people get caught up in aspects of fetishization where it's like, no, they were using the tools that were available at the time.
Yeah.
And they would absolutely use the tools that are available now to their credit. Of course they are. They think they liked recording analog tape? No, they would absolutely record digital.
Definitely.
Like, what are you talking about?
Completely.
They're the first ones to do it. And, sometimes that could end up in something ill-advised, like, oh, okay, you Fairlight, huh? Okay, but and sometimes it's sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes you get trans, and it's like, wow,
Yeah.
Neil Young, I didn't know you had it in you. Great.
I mean, yeah. Once again, like taking those steps is crazy. Where it's just like,
yeah.
okay,
Are we doing this?
Yeah, like wow. So and once again, it's like there's a couple things on the record where, like, we kind of leaned into stuff, and I was like, this could go fucking horribly wrong. So
Well, let's talk about the record. Let's break it down song by song. We've done this before, so you know how it works. But yeah, let's start with the intro. Like it's been outside. I've been outside. It's all right. Like kind of a slow burn intro is probably the best way to put it, right? I dig it, and I think it suits the record very well. Mm-hmm. How did that one come to pass, man?
So that was like, how do we start the record?
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to do. I wanted the false start stop thing. Like that seemed funny to me. It's kind of that's one of the things where it's like that could go fucking horribly wrong.
If you don't land it, yeah.
No, and especially like when you send it out to people and they're like, when does the record start? And you're like, the fourth song.
Yeah.
And it's like there's an electronic song that we're probably never going to play live, and then there's like these two sandwich things. I think I was just who's the guy that wrote the Rocky score? I forget his name all the time. Bob Conti.
Yeah. Which did not win Best Song that year at the Oscars, which is
it's insane.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's
like one of the all-time great songs in movies, and it lost to like Cabaret or something.
Dude, the way he breezes that motif, and you're like, oh, it's so beautiful. That
like when you hear it in the Creed movie, you're like, hell yeah,
it is so good.
It's like a cheat code almost.
Yeah, I can't count how many times I've like watched 1 through 5 on accident.
Yeah,
like I'll see like, a couple minute moments of 1, and I'll be like, gotta watch 2, gotta watch 3. It's raining outside. Dude, it's Thanksgiving.
Can I say I think my favorite might be Rocky Balboa out of the bunch of them, or the first one? Like,
see, I like that take better than like 3 is the greatest movie of the 80s or some weird shit.
I mean, it's absurd jingoism taken to the nth level, and if you can appreciate it as that, it's a good movie.
And 1 and Balboa, those are actually movies.
Yeah,
4 is okay, but 4 is literally a giant montage.
No, it's one giant montage. And is it a cool montage? Yes, it is.
It's
absolutely
cool. I know it's been parodied by Team America and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you watch it and it's literally a montage, 10 minutes of dialogue, another montage, 10 minutes of dialogue, montage. It's fucking hilarious. And it's great. I'm like, that's great.
But yeah, compliment. Right? Yeah. Exactly. And that's dude, and like, I'm sorry, but like when Dolph Lundgren, if he dies, he dies. Come on. You tell me you think that's bad?
No. Dude,
get out of here.
It's so good. And then it ends with Rocky destroying communism. I'm like, put it in my veins.
I know. If
we could do it, you can do it.
It's so completely over the top. And like it starts off with that. People forget. I forget because I rewatched it recently. Oh yeah, James Brown is in this movie.
Oh, no, that's
that whole like opening sequence is like, oh, it's incredible. It's incredible.
But there's a scene at the end, right, when he wins.
Yeah.
And like the crowd's cheering him, but the fucking Soviet Politburo is sitting there looking at each other, being like, this 4'8" Italian guy has a point.
4'8".
Let's get rid of the Soviet Union. And
Like, he convinced us.
Shit.
Yeah. No, it's so. It again. If you come at it from so you can enjoy it on multiple levels, and not the least of which is that like it is like a dark comedy almost if you stop and think about it in terms of the slightest bit of critical thinking, right?
It's insane. Yeah, he's so nuts that it's just like, okay, yeah, I guess that's something. So I don't know. Back to the song. So
Okay, so soft intro, I'd say.
Yeah, so it's like a soft intro. I was really listening to the OJs a lot and Bill Conti, and I just wanted some kind of thing. I kept hearing that melody in my head. Yeah, and I brought it to Raj, and then the drum track is the drum sample is a sample from Byzantine Hemlock, which is like the song later on, and then it has my dad's a voice recording of my dad. I guess the whole record's about grief. It's like three things. My dad had brain cancer and died in 2017. Ghost Ship really fucked me up, and I didn't really notice it until years later. And then just the pandemic. So it's just grief from those three things, you know.
Cumulative trauma.
Yeah, and so it's just it's easy to make records and be like, it's actually about how, you know, the relationship of love and technology or some giant thing. It's like, no, this record is about those grief and then those kind of three things.
So tell me about On a Different Day then.
On a Different Day is something I started writing during the pandemic. And it was just a MIDI scratched up thing. I think I've had that chord structure around since I was like 16. It's very chromatic, kind of just hops up and down. It's a very it's a thing that's just kind of imbued in my head from probably like Josh Homme or something like that. Very Queens of Stone Age kind of.
Yeah, thing. I can hear that. Absolutely, yeah.
Desert Sessions, kind of stuff like that. So
but
that's
not in a way that sounds like rip-offy. Like there's bands where it's like, oh, you've heard of that Queens of Stone Age record too, huh? You know.
Oh yeah, totally.
Come on, calm down.
He does that song. You know that song Avon from Desert Sessions?
Yeah.
So he does a lot of stuff where it's like that's a very chromatic thing. Da na 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 that thing.
Yeah, so, is that one of the McBain Queens of Stone Age songs? I think it is, right?
Yeah. I think I'm giving him shit about that.
It's a great tune. I mean,
it's awesome, dude. I used to. He used to work at the Starving Musician in Berkeley.
He sure did, yeah.
And I would and like all my friends worked there, and I'd like talk shit on them, and then he'd be there, and I'd kind of like freeze up and be like, "Did you play on?"
I was like, "Hey, how's it going?
Did you play on I Feel Like a Millionaire? Was that you?"
Yeah, exactly.
So he's awesome. He did a bunch of mastering stuff for us. So.
Yeah, he's a talented dude. I talked about having him on this show like years ago, and I don't know. He agreed to it, and then we never did it. Cool story. Anyway, moving on.
I'm probably much more loudmouth than he is, but yeah.
But still, I mean, because that dude's done so much. He did like Monster Magnet, Hater, Wellwater Conspiracy. Like it's such
Wellwater Conspiracy. That's the shit. That's a really good. Hopefully that doesn't get passed over too much when people start talking about Soundgarden and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's I'd love to have McBain on. I should talk to him. I don't know. I'll like run hot on something and I'll forget all about it. And that's where it's like it's just me doing this show. Like there's no stakes for anyone else.
You can do whatever you want. Yeah, don't be like don't hold yourself.
I was like, oh yeah, I should do it. I mean, like it happens all the time.
McBain. So I just kind of did like a bunch of MIDI stuff, and I was working in like Ableton or some weird program I never use. I use Logic for everything, but I just basically had like a bunch of like kind of, you know, like it sounds like a guitar player making MIDI stuff. Yeah. So I did that and kind of structured it out, and I gave it to Rod, and he really kind of did a number on it. And then he did whatever the fuck he does on the back end of it with the drums. That is like
so cool.
Yeah, that's like, you know, that is. Raj has a bunch of unreleased recordings that he does, and they all kind of do that. It's just a lot of his phenomenal drumming, chopped up or processed or whatever it is. So, you know, I was telling you should have him on the show. Just
I would love to, and I've again, that's one of the things. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, I'm going to talk over him, and I'm going to say because it's it's easier to talk to someone who writes lyrics.
Yeah.
It's just like, what does this mean? But like with him, it's like, I'd like to know. I'm like, what's the exact processing on the drums?
Because way before he played with you, like I just knew from like folks like Mouse and like a bunch of other people were like he was like every drummer's favorite drummer in the band.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, well, there's got to be something to this guy like that like must be interesting. If everyone's like, oh, he's the band, he's great.
Yeah, I mean, even like I don't know if Ian would be playing with us unless Roger's the drummer, because it's like, I can do my thing, but like Raj is super fun to play with because he's like. It's either you get it or you don't. Like he'll just kind of, very melodic and kind of dig in on stuff. And Ian's exactly like that now too. So it's probably the best the band's ever sounded. But
and Raj has a musicality to his drum. And Crover's the same way, where it's like he's got a very sense of like, how are you this musical on like a percussion instrument, but like somehow you are.
Yeah, and it's like it's finding your spot and like kind of digging in. It's just like there's it's funny how much you like. There's so many drummers out there who are just this like unmovable object,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, I'm just gonna play 4/4 in the background, and you figure out where the fuck you go on top of that. And it's like, oh well, why don't you listen to the lyrics and the vocals? And if I'm doing some kind of weird run, why don't we link up on that? So that's like,
because there's an ebb and a flow to it, and that like it hits different, right? Like it hits different, and it's something that when you think about the great, I mean, you invoke the Minutemen, earlier, right? Think about like that rhythm section. It was like, what is even happening there? It's crazy.
That's
so
actually
deep.
I don't know if it makes any fucking sense, but that is actually the closest kind of one for one, because it's
absolutely, 100%.
For us, we might not totally sound like them, but it's just like even my size and how much I sweat. It's just like it's very like Minutemen, CCR. That's kind of, those are our North Stars in a weird way.
I understand. I may have actually mentioned those two bands in a little Batencamp review that I did for one of the records.
Nice.
At some point. Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, that's all Roger's stuff. So he's get him on here and have him talk about that, because that's really his track.
I would love that. That'd be great. So that's on a different day, and then that kind of leads into the next one, which is something we can start up and shut down. Which more samples. That's a presumably real conversation, right?
Yeah, it's we did this record called Royals and the Oakland Pot Washers that just kind of came out on Spotify, whatever that fucking thing is now. I'd rather kill myself than hear the Spotify versus Deerhoof debate, but
which is at the time of this recording is the hottest of hot topic, where it's like, okay,
yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
Look,
Good for
I get
everybody.
it, and do whatever works right for you. But I will say that there was no such thing as an ethical streaming service, and that having all of music available to you all time for a monthly fee is never going to benefit the artist.
Right, and who's the good guy in this? Apple? Like,
Yeah,
I'm just,
exactly. Who is just a different mega corporation? Is Spotify especially odious? Yeah, apparently. At least they're like loudmouth CEO, but like there's. What's your alternative? It's unsustainable unless people go back to maintain their own music libraries. People don't even know how to do that now.
Yeah, but I mean,
like,
it's one of those things though, where it's like it's something that I kind of tie to the Bay Area, which I love. Where it's like, I don't know how to say this without not sounding weird, but it's just like, take your music off of Spotify if that's what you want.
If that floats your boat, great.
I just think it's all too fucking big, dude. Like this is gonna end up somewhere dark and great and weird or something like that. But like taking music off of Spotify is I don't know what that's gonna do. And maybe
and I guess for some people look at it like a sign of protest or whatever. But
that's awesome.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I if it's
just
like,
don't think that there's.
Yeah, I mean,
I got strong opinions about it, but I mostly keep them to myself.
I don't even know this. I mean, that's the thing where it's just like I feel like everything's like 4 steps ahead of everybody.
Yeah,
and it's like I feel like the kind of like 60s boycott stuff could work, but
commodified dissent is the rule, not the exception. Like the outrage and catharsis machine is like that. That is the rule. That is what these wall gardens feed people. and that is like not it's a weird anomaly it's the formula, man, because that's what works. So if you want to change that, hell yeah, man, let's go change that. But I'm just saying that it's very clearly shown that like all the preponderance of short form content has destroyed like an entire generation's attention span. And I'm sorry, like that doesn't mean like it's invalid as an art form. It's saying it's culturally it's an indicative of a cultural change. And is that change for the good or the bad? I don't know. It's change. You know what I mean? And it was and Steve Albini was the second time he's invoked. Was fond of saying, well, there was only like a very small period in history where like recorded music was even around, let alone being able to be something that you can make money off of. And
I mean, Led Zeppelin bought a fucking airplane, but by ripping off. Basically,
blues guys.
Guys. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just like, all right, well, that's crazy. So,
so I think what it comes down to, and again, I'm not trying to like yuck anyone's yum on it. If you feel like taking your stuff down off Spotify is the right move for you, absolutely, go do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna make me sound like a fucking. I mean, first
cancel your subscription. Awesome.
Deerhoof are like the realest
love Deer Hoof.
motherfuckers. They've always been real, dude. Like when I first moved to Oakland, it was always like, what are they doing? And the Runners 4 is still fucking phenomenal. That record just never sounds old.
I've had Greg on, I want to say 4 times, maybe it's 3 times though, where we eventually went over the entire discography to that point.
Yeah.
And they were, like when I moved to Oakland in 95, like it was like, oh, what's this Deer Hoof band all about? They're doing something really cool. I mean, and they still are. They're still doing something cool. And
yeah, man, and it's like and like he's fucking dead nuts on with everything with the Palestinian shit. Like he's fucking like I'm like, good. Yeah, more people. You start yapping.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like, so that's the thing is like I'm not saying yes or no on the Spotify thing. I'm just like, I don't know if that's. I've just seen this before too many times where it's just I wrote some song on the Saigon Market EP about like things I learned at the anti-gentrification bake sale.
I forgot about that one. Yeah,
it's like that kind of thing of like there's half of it where it's like what the fuck is that going to do, and then there's the other half is like I'm glad that someone's doing that. So
So sidebar, there is the catharsis of, it's the anti-ICE protest. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not really like, I don't want to listen to a bunch of speeches. I don't really like marching around, but all right, I get it. But if you had sold it as like, oh no, we're going to bum out Trump trying to have a special day, then I'm like, okay, then you got me. Great. Yeah. Now I'm in. But nobody led with that. People were like, I was like, well, but they don't even report the accurate numbers on the news. Like, if you want to do it because it makes you feel better, awesome. Just realize that like on the street protests as an avenue for social change is a long haul.
No, I don't know. Whatever can be done to stop those motherfuckers is fair. Those fucking cowards.
But you know what? If it makes you feel better and realize, hey, I'm not as alone in feeling these kinds of ways, awesome, great. Yeah. Just realize that they're gonna say it's like 1/10 of the numbers they are. They're only gonna focus on any like windows they get broken. I mean, it's the same playbook they've been doing since the '60s.
Oh, the protesters?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's fucking insane. Like, I mean. Tune Yards went down there during the curfews. I see Nate every time at the Y, the bass player. Yeah. And I'm like, and the thing is, it's just I live in downtown Oakland. When there's protests and riots, they're not fucking riots. It's just insane. It's the same bullshit. It's like, I'm going to stop talking about politics because everybody knows where, apparently, because I'm screaming on a podcast, but where I'm at on this stuff. But it's just like,
I don't know how we got on it.
It's fucking insane. Where it's just like, they're doing the same tricks. And then the shit with Iran, I'm like, it just keeps repeating. Like it just never fucking stops. Where it's it's just insane. Like I know, I was talking to Ian the other day where it's just like I'm not a smart person, but it's staggering how fucking dumb people are. Where it's just just read the top paragraph of a Wikipedia article about populist presidents and shit like that. Just fucking do one thing and then whatever. Like the counter contrast is like people are like, well, fucking. It's better than Kamala and fucking Biden. I'm like, I hate those motherfuckers too. Yeah. We all hate those people.
But that, you're not swearing fealty to a presidential candidate. You're like, all right, I guess this is like harm reduction. This is like the best it's gonna get. All right, well that still sucks. But
dude, being super into a politician is some coward shit. That is like insane to do. Like even, it's cool to just be like, I'm gonna vote for them and I hope they do this or whatever. But like being super into a politician, knock it off. Grow up.
People are still flying the Hillary flag on
everybody
X.
Stop. Hold these fucking people to fire. Like make them do shit for you instead of whatever. So anyway,
I agree. Anyway, sorry, that's quite the derivation. I agree. And by the way, like all the social change in the world, I'm all for all of this stuff. I'm just saying I don't personally feel that taking down my music or taking down this show from one platform will change anything.
Yeah, man. I mean, that should be accepted too. That's literally a fair.
And this thing, and this show's unique in a lot of ways. Not the least of which is platform independent. I self-host it. I always have self-hosted. I probably always will self-host it. It takes no ads, no sponsors of any kind. Like it's completely, it's unbound. It's free, and it always will be free. And I don't care about these platforms. They come and they go, man. I have outlasted multiple platforms with this show.
Yeah.
And I will outlast even more because people act like this stuff's going to be here for forever. Like the hell it is.
Yeah,
like everything collapses. Except for this show. This show will just, I'll be doing this when I'm 90.
Except for Friendster and MySpace.
Friendster and MySpace, exactly. There was a time those are the biggest websites in the world, right?
Insane. Yep.
Anyway.
We're living through history.
I'm not trying to again. I need to be really specific. Anyone that is like really into like activism and change and they believe in it, I'm not short selling any of that.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Greg is like I don't know him, but like that's some
awesome.
real shit. That is like
I love that dude. I love his passion. I love that he's using his platform for something cool.
No, it's sick. It's rad. So
yeah, it's great. All respect, and I should probably have him on again because it's been like a long time. But we went over the whole discography until like I don't know 2022 or whatever the last. And they put out like 5 records since then, I think. So
yeah,
this is bank it for a whole nother episode. Anyway, so all right, so you got this. So the samples. We
yeah. So
the third
we got,
song of the record that we're talking about, right? Okay.
So we'll skip through this. The
anyway, about abortion. No.
Yeah. So it's a sample of Roy Ruth and the Oakland Power Washers. I'm like stopping myself on
yeah
my stuff. But yeah, it's a voicemail he left me about some website, but it made me laugh because it was like if I put like a John Carpenter piano part underneath it, it sounds kind of menacing. So it was just something I was just doing on the side.
Nice.
And it has a sample from a machine shop, my dad's machine shop, when I was like in 2002, maybe, recorded into a tape machine that sampled a.
Yeah, it sounds kind of ominous. Almost.
Yeah. So it's you know, I was there's a time in my life where I was pretty into sound collage and like Todd Dockstader and you know new music and stuff like that, just because it's interesting. It's not like even like an academic thing. It's just like you just combine stuff, music concrete and stuff like that. So
sure,
yeah. So I every once in a while I'll try to stretch that muscle out, try to make stuff like that. So that's all it was. But yeah, it's actually it started turning into something like that kind of sound like John Carpenter. I love John Carpenter.
No, well, dude, have you ever seen him play?
No, I missed him. Macy went to that.
Tony, it must be a bass player thing. Tony went and saw him play, and he was like, dude, it was awesome. I was like, dude, I would totally go see John Carpenter. And it's like, I think his son plays with him.
Yeah,
too.
Toby.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, dude, that sounds badass. Because, like, if you listen to, all the soundtrack stuff, it's like, this is just good music. This is just good. Like if this was, I'm just listening to, like, some, crazy synth band from the 70s or something. You know, it's like, what's the difference, really? And the fact that, like, this guy's also a director. And it's all based on the fact that, like, he was like, I didn't want to pay anyone to make the soundtrack.
Yeah. I get it.
Which fucking rocks, dude. That's
rad.
so awesome. It's like, it's what a king.
Yeah, and it's like, he's like, I mean, he. I think it's if he doesn't make that video for Big Trouble in Little China, then he's like,
oh man,
Big
Trouble in Little China. Yeah. Oh no, I know the one you're talking about.
That was wild. So it's like, I mean, outside of that, I'm like, dude. The theme from
it's like pure distilled cocaine in a video form.
Yeah, and they're like editing the video in the video.
Yeah, it's real good, man. We'll be editing the video in the video. Okay,
it's good.
Right. Calm down.
Yeah, speaking of Christopher Nolan, but yeah,
it's the inception of music videos.
Yeah, but the piano part's actually Byzantine and Hemlock, and I didn't plan for that.
Oh, okay.
At all. I think I just kind of
it just was in your mind, maybe
like ripping myself off, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, it's also like if something's good, something's good. I mean, last thing on Carpenter, think of like the Halloween theme song, right? It's just like ding, 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 ding. It's like something you're like, I'm dicking around on the piano and like, hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's like, one of the most iconic horror movie scores of all time. Yeah, I guess that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move the hell on. Back in the line. So this is the first, like, when you think of B. Hamilton as a rock band, this is like what some people would call like the first quote unquote real song. I disagree.
Yeah.
But
okay, cool, nice.
Yeah, but
I mean this is us being Creedence. It was a lot slower at some point before we recorded it.
Yeah.
But it's just chugling, and then it's like when we play it live.
Yeah.
It can get ridiculously fast. So this is like the kind of sweet spot. And it's just lyrically it's a little bit vague, so which is fine. It's just the monotony of kind of stuff we were just talking about. It's just it just keeps fucking happening over and over again. So
it really does, man. And sometimes like I'm like I can find the beauty in that. I can find like some like dark humor in it. And sometimes it's just like, Jesus fucking H Christ.
I know, it's just like here we go again, and that's
we're doing this again, huh? All right.
It's just, it's, you know, that guy's good. Now he's bad. Now he's good. It's like, all right, I can't do this anymore. So, I mean, I don't know. This is the first, our buddy Nelson Devereaux, he did horn arrangements on 3 of the songs. And I mean, I can't wait to work with him again, because it's just, I like collaborating in a sense of like, hey, go do whatever you want, and I'm not going to put any constraints on you. Because I can't be the person in the studio being like, what about this? Because I don't know.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
And if I did know,
Right,
then I'd be fucking doing it myself. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like,
yeah,
like
exactly.
I played all the bass on the record, and it's just like, it's not like a thing where it's like, I just know that I can do that. I know what I want it to sound like. But like with Joel or Nelson, it's just like, do your thing, and I'm not going to edit it. If you do a couple passes, I'll probably just keep some phrases. But Nelson just sent me back stems of like, he does this little solo like between the verses.
Yeah, it's super
and it's
cool.
just like, what is that? And it made me laugh because it's so not something we would do. It sounds like something from like a Saturday Night Live 70s.
no, it's got big talk show energy, like in a good way. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. So I mean, I
credit where credit's due. Stolen Valor. Mouse said that once about a band. I was like, they do have talk show energy. You're right.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. God damn, that's good.
The version of Goodfoot we play now live sounds exactly like the intro of like Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. But I don't know how it happened, but it's big talk show energy.
There is the thing you wrote on Instagram that's cowboy specific that I thought was pretty funny / interesting.
Yeah, I fucking hate cowboys.
Tell me why do you have a strong reaction to cowboys?
It's this insane, like, tortured, like, imagery of America.
Yeah.
Like it can be decorations for a 5-year-old. It can be the gang in Blood Meridian. It can be
right.
I hate John Wayne. I think
John Wayne sucks.
Just because he's like a fucking actor, and then he did all his tough guy shit. He has that he has an interview in Playboy in the 70s where he's like, Native Americans are unfit to rule their own lives. Just yammering on just dumb shit. Yeah. And then Ronald Reagan just took that and has this cowboy affect. And people think he's tough. And every time I see a politician do this shit where they're like, I'm a tough... You see Pete Hegseth doing this shit. It's like, shut up. Everybody shut up. I don't want to hear these fucking tough guys, because it's like, it's just this dumb alpha shit that drives me crazy.
Yeah, it's super annoying, dude. It's way annoying.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's funny to take pot shots at cowboys, because why not? I don't know.
Well, and that's something where I was on the gym on the treadmill earlier today, and on one of these Roku channels, everybody, thank you. Fistful of Dollars came on, and
awesome. It's awesome.
And I was like, dude, this rocks. Like, and as much as like I agree with everything you just said, it's like, yeah, but this kicks ass though.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean,
that's what's different.
it's just weird if it's like, it's like a confusing kind of thing, right? It's it's like a G.I. Joe. It's like a children's toy, but it's also like a trained murderer, where it's like, So it's just kind of weird whenever you see like, especially if you live in I live in a city. I've never like lived in the country, right?
Yeah.
When I see someone walking down Telegraph in a cowboy hat, you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
What do you?
It's like,
are you going to Burning Man? What's happening?
I don't know. Yeah, or like Los Feliz, and like this guys in cowboy hats. Like, god damn it. So if you live in the country, then do that shit. But like,
yeah, but it's like, somehow Gene Autry and Cormac McCarthy are in the same sentence. It's like, okay, that's a strained metaphor, but
it just brings me back to Reagan clearing brush in Simi Valley, and I don't think that maybe we should plant crack in Baltimore or whatever. So, like, fuck them. So I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's real as hell, man.
I didn't mean to say all this shit, but whatever.
No, whatever. I'm putting you up to it. Blame it on me. Yeah, so that's how about Sunny Day? So tell me about Sunny Day.
Sunny Day is that one existed in 2000. It just one of those songs that just lingers around. You don't know what to do with it.
Right. Yeah.
So
man, that's very real.
Yeah, and it's
so I hear.
Totally. Yeah. Right. But it's clearly constructed, just like cauterized together.
Yeah.
I think anybody who's like a musician, a songwriter can hear how it's like this part and then this part and then this part, which is cool. But it's not the lyrically strongest song on the record, so the lyrics are definitely an afterthought.
Right.
And I think it really shows off Raj's prowess.
Oh yeah,
as a
Dude.
drummer and a producer. Just
Yeah.
his kind of weird stuff he's doing. So.
Well, and that's another example of it being. Again, it sounds like the band, but it's unique. It doesn't sound like the last record. It's not like the record before that, but it does in the way that it's the same band. But it's not. It's not AC/DC, and I love AC/DC. Don't get me wrong, but
me too.
But it's not.
It's a very Raj beat. Like I think that's just kind of like his kind of he'll play stuff like that a lot. So we kind of built that song around him. It has that kind of Queen's chromatic thing again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's an assaulting song. It's almost like Callo Gallo or something like that, where it doesn't let up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting. It's when we play it live, it's funny. That's like the most hit or miss fucking song we've ever written or played. If it's not there, it's just not there.
And that's rough because then it's like, oh, we're locked into it, and this is clearly not working. That is the worst feeling.
And there's never been an iteration of this band that when we clam up, it's like it's eyes and laughing, just like, oh, this is going real well.
Can I tell you there was I'm not going to say the show. I'm not going to say like the line. I'm not going to say where it was. But there was time it was like a newer song. It was like maybe the fourth or fifth time we played it, and it just was. I was like, this is not working.
No.
And then I like look out, and of course it's like a bunch of people are filming it. I'm like,
oh yeah, great, thank you.
Please, no. Can I send out the secret CIA thing to delete that video, please?
Totally.
Because I don't ever want to see it. Whatever this, I never want to look at it.
It's yeah, and
garbage.
I mean that's yeah.
And we recovered immediately. And I actually did look at it because I apparently was feeling masochistic, and I was like, it's fine. It's not what that song should be doing, but it's fine. Like if you're not in the band, nobody cares.
Yeah,
But
it's funny how much the level of perfection. Like we played it at the Makeout Room in San Francisco a couple months ago, and like the kind of like Raj and Ian are super professional. They're very professional with their gear. I've had to learn about this like a lot from them, where it's like, oh yeah, make sure everything's airtight.
Right,
and
right.
So
you can control that. That's the thing you can control. You can't necessarily control everything in the room, but you can control that, which is going to be 80% of the show, unless the sound is especially horrible.
Totally. And so like I'm playing, and I think we're playing Sunny Day actually, and like I look out and you can see like the bathroom, and there was just a dude like staring at us, kind of like just looking at us, and then like went and knocked on the door again to the bathroom, and I was like, whatever. However serious I think I am, or whatever, I'm just at a bar.
Right. You're just in the background of this dude needing to piss, man.
Some dude needs to piss out his vodka soda, and I'm like, all right, that's fair.
Like, here we go. Yeah, exactly. You're not sitting there like, oh yeah, this one's for the Smithsonian. It's going to the Library of Congress. No, the fuck it is, man.
No,
it's rock and roll, baby.
You're a bar band. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get too worked up about it. No one is as engaged with it as you are, even if it's a good show.
No one cares. Yeah, it's awesome, except for us. So.
Well, there is a kind of beauty to it too, because then it's also like, well, what's the overall feeling that you're getting from the show? Oh, the show was kick ass. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Then I'm not going to sit here and do like the Monday morning quarterback.
Oh, dude,
BS.
I knocked that shit off, dude. Like the self-hating
musician.
musician. It's just so fucking. Then why did you do it? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why did you rent a practice space and buy gear?
Yeah.
And then you're like, I just don't really. It's just like whatever, dude. No one cares that much. I mean, everybody has to go to work tomorrow. Who cares? Just fucking do what you want to do and be stoked on it. Like,
and there's some freedom in that too. Again, and I think you're bringing up a good point, because it's also like, what's going to be, what the takeaway is going to be like, cool, I got to escape from my crappy life and my job that, my boss sucks, like I don't feel fulfilled by, et cetera, and I got to like hear some cool rock and roll music. And that's what people are going to come away with, rather than like, well, I don't know, that middle eighth is come on.
No one cares. No one cares.
Like, what are you doing here?
No, it's I don't know. If there's anything I can say about like Beat Hamilton, it's literally doing it for myself. Like it's shit that I fucking like. So,
So let's move on to Douglas.
Cool. So Douglas I wrote the song on Juneteenth, 2020. I was in my bedroom. Lindsay's fairly immunocompromised, so we were pretty at that stage. And,
right. You can't go anywhere because
yeah. And it was just a fucking beautiful sunny day in Oakland, and Juneteenth was just like going crazy, dude. You could hear the top of the lake, bottom of the lake, fireworks and shit like that, just everything. And it was just beautiful. And then
I used to say that in Oakland, it's like, if the Raiders lost, there'll be like, gunplay, and if the Raiders won, there'll be a lot of gunplay.
Do it, yeah. Doesn't matter.
Some of them I threw a garbage can through McDonald's because football. Okay,
go down to 14th, blow it up.
Exactly. It's either way. Steer clear to that area.
Blow it up. Just get rid of it. But there was it was something beautiful, and it's like, if it's one of those things where if you have half a brain cell, you understand like even as a white guy, you can understand how fucked with black people have been in this country.
Oh, I mean, if you don't understand that,
if you just don't get it, it's like, all right, fucking whatever.
Yeah, if this is going to be the show that teaches you about that, I don't even know what to say to you, but okay.
Yeah, and die on that cross or do whatever. But it's just, maybe get a library card or something like that. Just figure it out. But there was like, so it was like this beautiful thing. I'm not going to do that like, I don't know. The whole, when people had like Black Lives Matter shit in their fucking house, that bugged the hell out of me. And it's just weird to be one of those like pandering white guys. But it was just beautiful.
It depends. So, as you know, I still claim Oakland as my home, even though I haven't lived there since 2017. But in Milwaukee, it's a different story. So we definitely had a Black Lives Matter sign in the window for a while, and they were too cowardly to do it. But I was told very passive aggressively that it'd be a shame if like a brick went through your window. I was like, yeah, that would be a shame since I keep a baseball bat underneath the couch. Totally. We done here?
And that is completely your experience. I know
but this is like one of the most racially stratified cities I've ever been to, let alone lived in. And that's something I did not, like, of course I didn't notice that before I moved here. I'm a white guy, right? But like, I was no, I really noticed it.
That's probably taking a stance, right? If you're in Montclair, and they have there's a bunch of Black Lives Matter signs.
So
like,
brave.
Really? Oh, yeah, okay. Look at
so
you
brave.
Go. Right, so it's whatever.
Which I guess that's cynical to say that, but I mean, all right. Again, if you're doing it for yourself, awesome. Just you're not really enacting social change by putting a sign up in the window.
That's I guess what the whole thing is. It's like, and that's just another fucking question that we can. It's never going to make sense, but it's just like, what's the solution?
I don't have it. If I had it, again, I'd probably
and
be doing that instead of this.
I don't have any solutions to anything. So it's that's the hill I'll die on. But Douglas, so that was going on, and then there's some bill, Republicans try to be cute with this shit, and they're like, let's change the name of a ship or whatever they did. So it was just a reaction to seeing kind of so much beauty, and then kind of looking at like a white guy, Douglas, and being like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? How are the connections not coming together?
Well, this has got Nelson and Grace both on it too.
Yeah,
right?
Grace is on it.
Yeah, and that's a cool addition. Like, I think that's a good record.
Nelson killed us. The solo made me die of laughter when I first heard it. Just joy, because it's just so funny to me. That's just like, yeah, I guess you can do stuff like that on a B. Hamilton record.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, it's. Oh no, it doesn't sound like the other ones. All right.
Yeah, no.
Calm down.
Well, it's like a three chord cowboy chord song. It's nothing.
I mean, I thought it was exciting. Like, it's exciting. It's like, oh, that's cool that they're doing this different. This is hitting different. And it's the same, but it's same but different, but also the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, it's about it. I could ramble on about the lyrics, but whatever.
That's fine. Dude, it's a podcast. There's time.
No, it's confused. I hate when I start doing stuff like this. So next.
Jeez. Oh, wow. Everyone's a critic. Okay. So Goodfoot. This is the non-James Brown song. Actually,
I know.
It's not called Goodfoot, the James Brown song I'm talking about.
That's just something he said that on a bunch of songs, right?
He said that on a bunch of songs, and I think, but there is I think it's Get Up on the Good Foot. I think is an actual song. Get on the Good Foot Part 1. Okay, I have the Star Time. I have the Star Time box set, so
nice.
Okay, congratulations.
That's sick.
It is actually great. Honestly, I love it for long drives. It's gonna sound counterintuitive for like music meant for dancing, but it kicks ass for like long drives.
What's the song? It's the first song he plays at the French concert.
Oh,
Brother Rap.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my god, that fucking song, and you know, the tempos that one went up and down with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Loved it. I love that song.
We were playing a show at it was like the Starry Plow or something, and some guy comes up to me and it was like don't take this the wrong way. I'm like, all right, I can't wait to hear what happens next, right? It's like, but you remind me of like a punk rock James Brown. I'm like,
cool.
How would somebody take that the wrong way? Like, are you kidding me? That's amazing. And then I was like, what do you mean, like domestic abuse? And then I ruined it, and it was like, what do you mean? I'm like, don't worry about it.
You look like you really beat the shit out of your wife.
You look like you really hit women. Oh, okay.
Cool.
Got that look, huh?
I'm a bad boy.
But that was like, and that's not me to like to slip it. Oh, I got this great compliment. I was just like, how would somebody take that the wrong way? Like one of the greatest live performers in the history of music. Okay, thank you. You know, don't take this the wrong way, but you sound like Jimi Hendrix. Okay.
The greatest, maybe?
I'm trying to think of like
Prince?
Jagger. I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. That'd be a crazy conversation. Anyway.
The thing that's funny is like, I didn't even, it's one of those things that's like in, just in the subconscious. I didn't plan to like say get up on the good foot. It just ties into, it makes a fine chorus for what the song's about. I actually rip off Paul Simon way more than James Brown in the song.
Well, that's good. And this is a different, there's like an earlier version of this. Yeah. And it's a little more, this is like more eighth note-y.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Same tracking. Rod just remixed it.
But I think that, this is cool. This is a great single. Like, first of all, and like, I think that it's very catchy. I've listened to it a lot. And, yeah, I don't know. You got anything to say about it?
No, Joel's on it.
Just tell more unrelated stories that you want of people I was compared to.
No, there's no harmonies, vocal harmonies on any of the B. Hamilton records.
Yeah.
And then the EPs, I really learned how to do it.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm kind of getting there because once again, this came before the EPs. But Joel does all the heavy lifting with like the harmonies and the amazing piano part he does coming out of the bridge.
Oh yeah, that's so good.
It's so cool. Like it's like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's funny sometimes where it's just like I'll reluctantly do guitar solos because it seems like a tool, right? It's like, oh, this will be fun, but a guitar solo would just be fucking horrible there. So it's like it's just so perfect. Like he just does Joel shit. So
it's very vibey. There's a good because there's a good vibe to the song, and like it would be interruptive, and that isn't a bad thing necessarily. That could be really good in a song where you're like, oh, that's neat that you broke it up that way. But no, like it definitely hits nicely. It hits nicely in that kind of like really like almost like green onions or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I've always kind of thought that like, and you got to remember when I'm talking about the Booker T song, not actual green onions, but
delicious.
They are actually. But you know, Booker T and the MGs, like they like backed bands. Mm-hmm. You know, people forget about this because like people just don't talk about Booker T and the MGs, but like, you know, like they were just notable like backing bands for like Wilson Pickett, like Otis Redding, so on and so on.
Sam and Dave.
And I love that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, to me, it kind of seemed like an entry into that for you guys, which, not that there hasn't been stuff like that in the catalog in the past, but I'm like, oh, no, that slots very nicely into that kind of thing.
Sure.
And, I mean, I don't know if that just, like, ended up being that way because it was a nice groove or what, or if it was just, but, like, the idea, if you threw, like, a ripping guitar solo in, it's like, okay, that's gonna seem ill-fitting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that we were just trying to, I think I was really adamant about having the left and right electric guitars, like you know, like with arrangements, right? Like I can like see arrangements. Just I'm sure you're the same way or something like that. But it's just like left hard pan, right hard pan. Don't move too much. Don't be like sitting there. Like the closest thing is a da na 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 that thing. Yeah. But have the claw hammer guitar in the middle, and it's just like I don't like having just random shit in there. It just like pops in. So the piano's there the entire time. It's just like go off. Like it's already there instead of some random instrument. I don't know. I probably do that a lot. No, I don't think I do. But like I like when like the instruments that's already there does the solo instead of like here's some fucking synthesizer solo with some instrument that pops in and goes away.
Right.
It's cool, but it's like I think that we're still trying to, even though we're clearly not, like we make all the records in here, so it's just like we're not trying to pretend that we're all in the same room, but the arrangement is always going to be like, you know, it's already there. The band's, you know, all the members are here instead of like flying in some weird shit. So I don't know.
Well, and there's a sort of ease and comfort to that too. That even if the individual recorded parts are not all people playing in a room, there's going to be like a continuity. Sure.
Yeah, it's just continuity to like the kind of like, oh, that's the song. That's instead of like you know, just having too much stuff. I think I like limitations like that with recording, where it's like, yeah, you can do a bunch of stuff, but no, don't.
Well, and that goes back to like, you know, the Minutemen aesthetic too, of just like, you know, it's there. Well, you don't, you know, if you already found gold, you don't need to keep digging.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, you can tell that they want to do like really crazy funk stuff, and they do. Yeah. But they're all like fighting for their goddamn lives. Like George Hurley's killing himself. Yeah. And then it's like, you know, Boone's just like hitting stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of that kind of
everyone's just holding the angle. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just like, we have three things. How do we get blood out of a rock with these things? You know? So it's like, all right. So it rules.
And in that struggle to achieve like the greatest rock song of all time, it's like you get something amazing, which will not be achieved. But it's like in the struggle to get there, you get something really just like
you get some
powerful.
Right. Totally. Yeah. I mean, that's it's. I mean, that's. I don't think I'll ever get tired of writing music and making records, because it's always that idea and where it ends up. And it's awesome. It's hilarious to see where stuff ends up. This is going to be like a country song. I was trying to figure out how to claw pick, and it just turns into like kind of a rock thing. I don't know. But.
Yeah, and in that it is, but there is. It's not necessarily funky, but there is, like I said, there's a solid groove to it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that's. It's so insistent that kind of drives you along, and then you get like a lot of the, you know, marionette pirouette kind of stuff in there. It's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
you know, that's and it's sort of like it means more when it's not a million things fighting for your attention.
Yes, yeah, I mean that's actually where I'm happiest with the band, when we kind of make those grooves.
Yeah,
just to kind of lock in and stay in there. Yeah,
I would say. And you know that I've gone deep on the catalog. I'd say it's amongst one of your best songs. Right?
Good Foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's thanks. It's very economic.
Yes.
It's very kind of like
sometimes that's all you need, man.
Yeah, I know. No, it's I mean, once you know, it goes like to what we're saying about like with your stuff, where it's like sometimes taking that road of like, here is a rock record.
Yeah.
It's like, here is a fucking pop song with the chorus and the bridge. And you know, and the bridge sounds like the Beatles, kind of, and then it ends, and you're like, that's psychedelic to me sometimes. Instead of like, oh, it's gonna have, you know, another verse or this and stuff like that. It's like, no, that's.
Here's where the claviphone comes in, and you know, here's the marimba part.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
And pretending that I'm smarter than I am, and I'm like, no, that's just a pop song.
Yeah, and there's. And that's funny when you can almost surprise yourself that way. It's like, oh, I guess this is a pop song. Right on.
Yeah, you know? And for me that was like, oh, okay, I can have that too. Where it's like you look at like Sunny Day or something like that, and you're like, okay, or a song like Douglas, where I'm like, oh, I guess I can write these songs too.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, I can do whatever I want, but it's just kind of having like that kind of those limitations of like, just keep it simple, just don't go too crazy with the form, and I mean, like in this song, there's an opportunity to just pump it up a half step and do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's
sure. Yeah.
So there's all these kind of things that you can think about songwriting, which is like, I don't know, it feels good. Like if Joel does the kind of alterations on it. So, yeah.
Let's do Leningrad on Merit.
Cool.
So,
yeah.
Another instrumental.
Another fake song. Non-existent, whatever.
Fake song.
Another stupid song. Yeah, it's just, I don't need to talk too much. If anybody wants some stuff on this, there's I wrote a bunch of liner things on Instagram.
Yeah, it's all on your Instagram. Yeah, and it's those are real cool. Like
Yeah.
I was like, it's gonna sound weird. I got jealous when I was like, oh, that's such a fucking awesome idea. Wow, I wish I would have. I guess
I wish I would have done.
time, but...
Dude, I mean, the thing is, we get caught in these like things when we're self-releasing records where you're like,
yeah,
take the photos, make the video, do the thing, and you're like, I don't like. We don't really have band photos for this record.
yeah.
Just because it was like hard to get together, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking do that. I don't want to be in a music video either where I'm like, I'm an actor now. It's like I like writing. I like writing a lot, you know. So
Yeah.
I could do that, and I could do it for each song because you're also in this kind of formula with albums where it's like, that's the single, here's the next single, and here's the next single, and everything else is dog shit that you have to, you know, crate digger will find. And it's like, no,
right,
actually,
yeah,
it's like I think you can, if you can kind of, you know, spin it like each song is a single.
Well, and there is something special about it. It wouldn't be a song if there wasn't something special about it, right?
Yeah, we're still in like the '60s shit where it's just like, you know, that's the single and that's going to be the one, and you're like, all right, but we also lived like through like Prague and like AOR and all this, all this stuff where it's like, you know,
yeah.
I don't know why we're still doing this shit to ourselves, especially if we're like self-releasing. It's like it's building our own cages, and you're like, just every song, just tell people about it. So I don't know.
Well, that's literally the bit, man. So you're preaching to the choir on that one.
Yeah,
that's like literally what we're doing right now. The title is, I mean, I remember there's like some winding story about some protest or something.
Oh yeah, no, I'd been reading about Stalingrad, Battle of Stalingrad, Leningrad, sorry. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about the LA protests, where the way people can spin stuff and be like, it's mayhem.
Yeah,
it's crazy out here.
Like,
and you're like,
come on. No,
I'm like, I don't know, man. I think Leningrad was under siege for like 2 years, and like, you know, like there's whatever's happening in LA is nothing.
Yeah, a window in a Wells Fargo got broken. It's not exactly the one-for-one situation.
Some dude wrote ACAB on a luxury condo. It's fine. Everything's gonna be all right. But it's just that kind of thought where I was just kind of.
So we're gonna pull through as a society, I think.
Well, it was even better because it's like I remember seeing, like, I lived near Lake Merritt, and I remember like seeing, like, you know, there's like shit broken and stuff, whatever, and then like, people were literally just having like rosé and masks, like on the edge of the lake, and I'm like, ugh. So I don't know. Pointless.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah.
Release the Hounds is the next one.
Yeah, I think this might be one of my favorite songs on the record. So
really, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a turn. It's one of those things where it's like me and Raj kind of. We wrote this with Macy, but it was definitely like after we all got back in this spot.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, we can kind of do whatever we want. I think Raj was kind of yearning to not be as heavy-handed playing.
Right.
And he constantly plays like this. This is like his kind of like Bill Withers default kind of setting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And it's a weird tuning for me. It's open D.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a capo on the top 5 strings on the 2nd fret. That's also how I do Goodfoot, but in standard.
Got it.
So
there you go.
it's just I like messing around with tunings.
Well, you can get things ring out differently.
Things ring out, and I just like putting myself in weird places, like with the guitar, because it's so. I think with a piano you can kind of find weird voicings, but with a guitar you're kind of stuck unless you have like huge hands. But you know what it's like. The difference between like fretting the 5th fret and then playing the open string is huge. So, it's me. I do this all the time with songs. I put myself in the Sahara. I'm just like, I don't know how to get out of here, what I'm doing here, or you start playing and figuring it out. So.
Well, and I think that's something that there's something to be said, especially when you're working in idiom, like guitar music, where it's not that everything has been done. That's ridiculous. But like, you know, there's been a lot of things that are done. It's hard not to be referential to something because of that. So if you can come up with something that's like, oh, that's the way that's deployed is interesting. Yeah. And, you know, it does something different, or like there's kind of a hook to it that's you otherwise wouldn't have. I mean, great. You know, and if you do that enough, then people are like, oh, that's his style. I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah, totally. It's
sounds good. I guess that's what I do. All right.
Yeah.
You know, and I think about someone like Billy Gibbons. It's like, well, you know that dude is playing the second you hear him, right?
Yeah.
Like you know who that guy, and it's part of it's just like, oh, he likes doing that.
Yeah, it's
He can do other stuff. It isn't just that. But
right. Yeah, no, I mean that's I don't even know if it's like a distinct thing, but it's just it's a good song. I like it. It's
I like the running around the town, running around the town. I like that
Yeah.
the all the vocal stuff there, like this.
Yeah,
kind of
there's
stacked.
There's definitely
sort of
some stuff on this where it's like, oh, it's going in a different place. We have another song that's this kind of arrangement kind of pops up in other stuff that we're working on. So it's just a tributary of kind of what we're doing instead of like smash and crash. It's like, oh, calm it down a little bit, kind of get kind of groovier and stuff like that. So it's good. Lyrics are kind of hazy and kind of not. It's a very kind of almost like a cut up kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I dig this song. So
Yeah, it's cool. And yeah, is this a live song? Have you played this one live?
yeah, it's really
Feels
good
like it'd
live.
be good live. Yeah. Feels like
Ian murders it. We've done a session like 50 steps from where I am right now, in Sharkbite with Scott from Kowloon, Walled City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Better. Yeah. Oh, Walled City, not the other Kowloon.
Yeah. Oh,
okay,
and
we know.
not the
Thank
actual
you.
city in China. It's
Yeah, right.
it's a band.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he's been on. Scott's been on a couple times on this
Cool.
show, I think. If I
Yeah,
remember
he's
right.
awesome. He fucking
Yeah.
hates Credence. He's completely wrong. So
I don't get that at all. But he's very against, and his whole like jihad against like blues based
I love it.
music is like, all right, man.
Love it.
Whatever floats your boat.
He's the best, dude.
But as someone that like I got mad about really arbitrary stuff myself in my younger days, so I get it.
I just think it's funny. Like, there's nothing that's funnier than like when people talk shit on music because of how much time you spend on it. It just makes me laugh if someone's like, "That sucks." I'm like, "That's pretty funny."
Yeah, no,
if someone's like, "The record's stupid, blues guitar's stupid," I'm just like, "That's hilarious and completely fine." I love
when
it.
it does, and like if you're living your life right, it doesn't affect your enjoyment at all.
No.
It's sort of like, all right, that's strange that you don't like that, but I mean. Yeah, I get it. I've as the author of many incensed rants about things that nobody cares about.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
And it's like, and if like someone said that and then your retort is like, I don't know, you're fat and stupid. It's like, it's like if we're
Just immediately go for the jugular. I mean, yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, all right, well, you don't get to define the rules here.
Well, you're gonna die alone. I was like, wow, fuck.
You got, do the Elon Musk thing. You got fat ankles, so sorry.
Armed response there. Okay.
But we recorded.
Didn't realize this is a stand your ground state. Am I right?
Yeah. But we recorded a bunch of songs with him.
Worked into some stand your ground material that I'm proud of myself. That's good.
Jesus. We're all gonna get planted to death.
We're all going to be shot for our musical opinions. Exactly. It's a real thing that's going to happen. Anything more for Release Hounds? Good
Yeah,
time.
there's gonna be a 4 live songs.
Oh, word.
coming out,
Cool. Awesome.
Scott did, so that one turns out pretty good on that.
Byzantine and Hemlock, referenced earlier. Tell me
Yeah.
about Byzantine and Hemlock.
This song's, this is a very bluesy guitar part. This one is in open D with the top string tuned to E, so it makes a drone.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
I'm a fan.
Kind of cool. The heaviest, this and Downy are like this kind of block on the second side of the record that are pretty dark. Some of the darkest shit I've ever written. So this is just about the evergreen, housing crisis and fucking having friends that are just never gonna get off the street because it's like they're mentally ill, I guess. So it's like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's it sucks. It's I don't know.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking, right? I mean, there's no way to short sell it.
It's the fucking richest country the world's ever seen. And it's just fucking people with like, legit talent, who just either can't get their meds or they can, or, something happens. I don't know what it is, but maybe it would happen anyway if everything was fine, but it's not. So it's easy to blame
Well, and
other stuff, but yeah,
it doesn't have to be that way.
I guess not. You know, I don't know. It drives me crazy, but it's like it's a lot of things do. But yeah, it's the second verse has some. We did some text to speech stuff that we threw in on this and back in the line.
Yeah.
So that was kind of too. There's these haunting, horrible videos of what it's like to have schizophrenia. I'm sure that people have looked. So you know, I was trying to do that. There's some things on the record where it's like they seem like a good idea at the time. It's still fine, but it's just like I'm not making light of it, but it's like, you know, you got to lean in, right? I guess it's like you either like you is that not what you're talking about? No, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone with schizophrenia. So it's like,
yeah, you're screaming about the CIA, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's like, well, yeah, it's so you don't hear songs about that kind of stuff. Or
I know, and it's
you know?
it's like, you know, it's.
Well, I mean, I guess I do because I heard this one, but beyond this, but you know what I mean.
The second you know verse in that is like about holding tight to your mother's legs, being afraid of fireworks. Yeah. So it's like this kind of ongoing thing where it's like, you know, how many people on the street are just fucking autistic or have Asperger's or neurodivergent and they just can't get their shit together, you know? And people are like, oh, they're stupid. And you're like, I don't know, dude. So, you know, it's, I don't know. This song just is always going to kind of be weird to me. Because it's weird. It's like you live in a city and you see people and they can be aggressive and mean and, you know, but they're someone's kid and someone's friend and, you know, it's just hard to navigate. So,
well, and you wonder sometimes if they behave that way, if, you know, the people whose opinions that they cared about or that they loved or whatever was there, like, watch them be their absolute worst monsters. If they like, you know, still stand by that. Right.
Yeah.
Some of them maybe would. I was like to think some of them would be like, maybe I'm kind of pushing this a little bit too far.
I mean, that's the kind of weird thing, though, because it's like that's the writing anything or writing songs is like you have to take a stance, I guess.
Yeah.
If for whatever I'm writing, whatever the bullshit this is, like I have to land on something, but ultimately I don't know the conclusion for fucking anything, probably. As I just added probably to that. So it's kind of hard to like it's like this thing of just like it's a big question and you know, a lot of things don't have answers and like this one. And I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, this is another one. If you want to read more about it on Instagram, it's
yeah, those things are cool. I mean, whatever carousel, like written words on a thing, that you push the thing and it goes to the other thing. Yeah,
carousel. Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. Some of it's like just straight up lies and stuff, but whatever.
Wait, in rock and roll?
Yeah, no. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I lied.
Yeah, wow. You're the first person ever to do that. Yeah.
But that's a good song. Yeah.
How about Downey, man?
Downey is the B-side of the Darkness Brothers, or whatever the fuck this part of the record is. Downey is this town in Los Angeles that I was born in and my family kind of came from before I moved to Orange County. And my grandpa, I never met him, but he came from Oklahoma during the Great Depression, just textbook Okie bullshit. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just kind of I was driving down. You get this call whenever you know someone's in hospice. Yeah, it's like it's wrapping up. It's time to go. So it's just like that call, and I was just driving down to Downey from Oakland.
That's where the Carpenters are from, right?
Yeah, the Carpenters are like huge there.
We did a big Carpenters playthrough. Not playthrough. It sounds like we're like playing along with it, but we listened to it on tour. I was like, God damn, there's a lot of really good Carpenter stuff.
So good.
Like you forget because they're just like it's like air.
Right? Yeah, but well, and it's like you grow it's like that kind of thing. The disco sucks, and you're like, you fucking suck. This music sucks. I don't want to listen to fucking Bachman Turner Overdrive. Like, fuck off. Like, or all that. Like, dude, Kiss is like the shittiest band in the world. And all these people are like, oh, fucking disco sucks. I'm like, Kiss sucks. Kiss is a horrible band.
And then they do, I was made for love
Exactly.
you, man. It's like,
Sell out.
is this not a disco song? Like,
No.
it rules, but come on.
Gene Simmons, you fucking Zionist prick. But so it's this kind of thing where it's like Carpenters were always like disco's awesome.
Yeah.
Disco rules. And so does like that 70s like soft rock like Carpenters era stuff. And the music's immaculate. The production is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think anybody's going to be like, "Well, that's a hot take," but it's like you grow up, especially like, you know.
Have you ever actually sat down and like analyzed Funky Town as a song?
I've listened to it a lot.
It's insane. It's insane,
Yeah.
especially like not the single version, but like the album version.
Yeah.
Like, it is like nothing about this should work, and it's like the greatest thing ever.
Totally.
And like the hook that we all think of as like the song, it's like it's barely there, but
Yeah.
it's so good that it's like it burrows into your subconscious. Like
Yeah, and it's
becomes part of your DNA.
Who was the Shuggy Otis, right? Remember for like the first time hearing that stuff, and you're like, "What is this?"
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of stuff from the late 70s and 80s that's just like it's a lot of like Sly and the Family Stone sounds like that too.
Totally.
Where when they start using drum machines, you're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
And like the Graham Central Station stuff,
Yeah.
too, where you're like, it's like lo-fi, but it's just the funkiest shit ever.
Yeah.
And the drums are hard pan. And you're like, what? So I love all that stuff. It's Funky Town like lives in that world.
Absolutely.
Where it's like,
No,
whoa, what's going on here?
Where's like you're like how? First of all, how could this had to be a hit because it's amazing, but how did this become a hit? Like how did how did somebody like? And it's in a
What's
good
going
way,
on?
where
Yeah.
you're just like you're like this is so freaky and weird. Like how?
What
Just
is
how?
it? I know. Insane.
And it gives you kind of hope that like when you make freaky weird music or like whatever that may mean in this milieu, if you will, you know, like okay.
Yeah, try it out. Just do whatever you want. Yeah, but
Turns out you can do whatever you want. Who knows?
you can do anything you want. The Carpenters are from Downey. So is Dave Alvin from the Blasters.
Oh yeah, sure.
So they're all kind of there. Yeah, it's just a kind of a 3-step thing. This is a kind of weird form for a song. It's basically 2 songs. I think it taps out like 11 minutes, but it's like it's three verses that kind of just ramp up, and then there's a break, and then it's like another song. So it's once again, this is kind of me wanting to experiment with format and kind of order structure of songs. And each one gets progressively, darker. But yeah, it's just about that kind of trip down and just kind of I kind of just was thinking about like my dad's entire life, his dad's entire life. Why are we here? What's how's where do I fit in all this kind of stuff? And you kind of go through those like existential kind of drifts in your head. And I don't know. Yeah, it's probably I don't necessarily like this song. It's a little too kind of personal. I don't like when I do that. So.
Well, there's something to be said for being able to express it.
Yeah,
and then also you don't have to have a personal relationship with it.
No, totally. Yeah, it's just that's the thing where it's like I don't scream as much as I used to. Mm-hmm. And I'm screaming in this song, so I don't know if we'll ever play it live again, but I don't know. It's good. It's good. I think Raj did a really good job with the production. It's just about a town in Los Angeles that I was born in. So,
well, and that's very much when you talked about it being like the Grief record, right? It was like that's very apparent. With this
yeah.
one.
So I mean that's also the thing is like if I'm gonna do that, then lean into it and write that.
Sure,
song.
dude.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like don't pussyfoot around it and be like, oh, I don't know what this is about. It's like that's the song. That's where it ends. And
yeah, don't chicken out from it, or worse, like sabotage it in some way.
Yes.
To like, yeah.
Or be put in this position where I just have to explain it and be like, but it's really about this. It's like when you hear Downey, you're like, I get it. All right.
Yeah.
Like it's there's a line that before it's like because what you get is a handshake in a hospital bed, and it's like there you are. that's the coda. So yeah, buddy. But then it leads to wherever I go.
Last song on the record. I can't move that quick. Okay, wherever I go. Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me about Wherever I Go.
Very happy song. Purposely the cap, the bookend.
Yeah.
and purposely structured right after Downey.
Yeah.
And me and Raj were super influenced by the Beatles on this record. I don't know why. It just kind of came out. I think it's a kind of perennial thing that just kind of comes out every once in a while. Because
they're getting good. The
I love
Beatles.
them. I love the Beatles. Love them.
They got a future in this biz.
Yeah, they're doing all right. Two of them do. Two of them are deader than shit.
Yeah.
But it's
I hadn't noticed, but okay.
Nelson does a phenomenal job on this song as well. So does Joel.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a song that lends itself to one of those kinds of arrangements,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, okay, especially it's the last song and you're trying, you're trying not to leave them crying at the end.
Yeah, I know. And it's so funny when you're like,
it's kind of jubilant in a way,
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's like it's very funny because there's this thing where it's like I'm sure you've probably been there with the arranging too, where it's like I added the slides and I was like, I've done this a million times where I add the slides and I'm like, that's the focus, that's the thing on top.
Yeah.
And then Nelson does that or Joel does something and I'm like, oh, the slides are just these pads in the background that don't mean anything.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Yeah.
No, it's just like, oh, all right. It's just some fucking.
It's like, all right.
It could be like a DX7 synth pad or something like that. I'm like,
right. Yeah, and that's and then you're like, oh, this is the part. This is gonna be it. This is really gonna tie the song together.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, and I think that's something you have to learn too. Like you have to. You have to
be okay with it.
Oh yeah.
And understand it when you hear.
You got to learn to sacrifice some shit.
You got to be like, well. All right, that's better.
Yeah.
Like that's. I guess
Totally.
That's where we're at. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really hard to do in bands a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, because you were like, you have your vision of like it's gonna be this, and you're like, it's actually something different.
No, or it's like I'm thinking of this part, and that's my part.
Well, and you can do the Ship of Theseus thing too, right? The thing you like starts the song off, like gets you going with the song. By the time you get to the end of it, like that part doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of on this whole record. It was a lot of me and because we just record here.
Yeah.
So it's like we have our thing set up. So it's like, oh, I did this, and then Roger do that, and it's something we've gotten pretty. The entire Saigon Market EP. Yeah. Me and Raj weren't in the same building at all through it.
That's
not one
crazy.
time. Yeah, not one time.
That's so nuts, dude.
He would track his stuff, and like I would do it to a drum machine or do something, or a loop, and then he would come in and do his thing and send it to me, and then I'd go back and forth. So we work really well with that, and it turns out like this, where we're just so used to like killing some of the kids, being like, no, it's Nelson, do Nelson, so.
Well, and that's the difference when you're coming at things from we're songwriting and making records versus, we're going to record the songs that we have just, played live, 6 weeks of touring that, are going to sound really good, which is
totally.
Like, it's going to hit different, right?
And I still, especially with Ian in the band, I still want to do something like that, but it's just like,
you should.
I know. And it would have to be, there's just something where I love the studio so much. I love kind of doing stuff where I can't bring Nelson out in the studio or on the road.
Right.
So I'm like, how do I rectify that?
Well, and I mean that's something there's precedent for it. I mean, Husker Du used to do that. They would like people would be, I can't wait to see them play all these songs I like, and they would play like the entire new record that nobody's heard.
Yeah, nice.
and then they would like record that immediately when they're done, and people are like, well, I love that record now, but I didn't know any of these songs when I saw. I was just talking to Ralph from Riot Coalition like last episode, and we played with Riot Coalition and Replicator in Portland, and they. I was so excited because I love the Lipstick Game record. Like, hell yeah, so good. And then they come out and they played all of the On Top record, but it wasn't out yet, except for like the last song, which was like one of the. And I was like, well, that was great, but what the hell was that? Like, I feel like I just saw like punk rock AC/DC.
Yeah, and
that was great, but it wasn't what I expected or had on my bingo card. And then you listen to it later, it's like, oh, well, I would have like really, that would have been incredible to see those songs like live and know them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's weird because it's like that's their process, and it's like I feel like that word is I love that word, and I love knowing people's processes. It's my fucking favorite thing. Whether you knit wool caps or, rebuild Chevys or so. I just want to know where does it start and where does it end? How do you do that?
Well, yeah, and not to turn it back on myself, but like I'm in the position that by the time we're playing a song live, like it's been like recorded, mixed, mastered, released. It's like is this a good live song? And sometimes it isn't. Sometimes like, oh, no, it isn't. Like, or it's only okay, which is worse. I'd rather have something be terrible live than only okay.
Yeah,
I hate to phrase it that way.
No, but it's and I know
it's a weird way to work, but
no, but that's like how you do it. Like that's like
seems to be going okay.
I wanted to when Ian joined, I wanted to write some stuff with him and like maybe
of course,
tack on an EP to just to have like something that, because it's so weird, like someone joins a band and you're like, here, we're releasing this record where I'm playing all the bass. It's like, okay. I think he's a better bass player than I am. But it's this thing of like, it's not how I like writing, because I start focusing on the guitar, and then I'm like, well, it's easier for me to like write with a guitar or flesh it out in Logic or something like that, and then go, here's the song, and I might release this demo on, whatever.
And then it gets to have a different life because you get to hear like, oh, it sounds like that this way. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
And I think that's the happy medium where it's like I'm always going to be down to do stuff like we do with Scott, where it's just like, okay, the band is tight, go in a room, record those, and have both versions. We have a version of Marion Out West on that we do with Scott that I would take 1,000% over the dog shit I recorded on the first EP. It's just like it sounds so horrible to me now, and I'm like, that's how it sounds. So I don't know.
Well, and sometimes people get into the whole low fidelity thing, and okay, cool, right on. But there's no wrong way to do it.
No.
And I'm very much like I'd be like, okay, I would never. Some of them are presentable enough that like maybe it'd be share them someday. But if somebody like shared my demos out, I would be like, what betrayal is this? Like, because I have, for me, it's like, no, the recorded product is the thing. And like the live show is like a delivery system for that. Another reason why I don't like everything being documented, including first attempts at songs. But I get it. It's the world we live in, right? And people aren't you can't force people to engage the way they engage. And some people really like, these releases where it's like, all right, here's the record, and here's like 15 different alternate versions. Here's like a version on the radio, and I'm like, cool. I'll listen to that one time, and then with some exceptions, I'll be like, I don't know. I'll still listen to the record.
Yeah,
but that's me, and whatever.
I just saw that like Nick, they started releasing like Nick Drake's alternate takes.
Okay.
I'm like, sign me the fuck up for that. Like,
I'll listen to that. Sure.
But it's just like, I agree. If it's just like something where it's just like, here's everything. It's like,
like when they did that the Funhouse thing where they released the entire sessions, and it's like, oh, it's crazy to be like, he was just vamping, and it was vamping here, and like, oh, and that turned into that, and oh, that's cool to hear one time. Same thing with the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys, whatever the
Pet Sounds one.
The Pet Sounds one. It was like you hear it one time, like. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And then it's like, am I going to throw it on for pleasure? No. No, I won't. But it's fascinating to hear because you're like, wow.
I know. Yeah, that is weird because I know I'm thinking about that too. Because I remember getting that box set, the green one.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, I mean, just hearing the isolated vocals, you're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's possible? It's one of those things where it's just like, oh,
yeah. Huh?
Great.
All right.
I mean, that's nerd shit. That's like musician shit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
Awesome. But yeah, I mean, that's yeah. I don't know. That's the record. I appreciate you going through it all because it's like,
I love it. I think I told you when we were tooling around Japan. Oh
yeah.
I was listening to. I'm going to give you a Ryan Christopher Parks style specificity story. I left my iPad in a hotel. Caveat, that's where I do all my demos. I do all my demos on this iPad.
Oh, nice.
I don't really even know to use the GarageBand in like the Mac. I use it on the iPad, right?
Cool.
It's just what I do. And like a complete idiot, I left at this hotel, and we were going to like a totally different part of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, hey, and of course they're very diligent. So they're like, hey, you left this here, can we get it to you somehow? And I'm like, oh, we're going to be back because we went back to Tokyo. I was like, we'll be back. I'll pick it up that day. And I don't remember exactly why, but we were kind of running late. I'm like, well, fuck, I still have to go get my goddamn iPad before we go like do this show. And I was like kind of stressing about it because I was like, well, I got to get it back. And like, and to be fair, they would have sent it wherever I wanted it to. And I was like, no, that's fine. Because I'm coming from like, that working poor mentality. Oh, don't spend money on that. I'll just come get it.
Yeah.
I should have just like done that. Anyway, so this record was the soundtrack to me on my solo journey through like the Tokyo subway system, going back to go get my iPad. And I was
nice.
And the first thing I thought of is like, I better tell Ryan about this. He would love the specificity of this story of just like me being a jackass. And like this thing that like is vital to my creativity has a bunch of songs that like I was like, oh, I'll back that up to the cloud later.
Yeah.
Like that kind of like, fuck, dude, like I gotta get this thing back. And it was such like, if someone were to ask what I was doing, I wouldn't be able to explain it in like under 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
That sounds like a fucking B. Hamilton song.
It kind of does. And I was like, it's so wild that the band I'm listening to, this sounds like it could be one of these songs.
Yeah,
right?
I lost my iPad in Tokyo, and I'm on a self-loathing train trip back to get it.
Exactly.
I'm sure everybody's like fucked around Chat GPT, and like it's funny when you do like write a B. Hamilton song. And it's pretty much that.
It would.
It's like self-loathing. It's like resolution, trying to claw yourself out, and it's just like, oh my god.
It's wonder that you can barely pay attention to because some mundane idiocy. Like great. It's all your themes. It's all the stuff that like runs undercurrent through.
That is fucking awesome. I that's like a quote.
It's all yours.
If I have to make like record quotes, I'd be like,
please.
Yeah, and just that story, and then just it sounded like a B. Hamilton song.
Yeah. I mean, with my blessing, please, by all means. I mean, I was. It was not lost on me. I was like, wow,
that is very funny.
This is my life, and it is what is happening right now. Great, fantastic. I love it, dude. I've listened to this record quite a bit. I've subjected the entire band to it multiple times over.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, this is This is self-titled, dude. This is self-titled. Who you are, Led Zeppelin? What are you doing here?
It's funny. Like, dude, people have such big opinions on that, and it's like it was gonna be called what's the name of the first song? I've been outside. It's all right. That was the name of it for years.
Sure.
And then it like 24 hours or a week before I put it on DistroKid, I'm just like, I just can't do these fucking names anymore because the EPs were just like garbage to the point where Lindsay was just like, when I was making the fifth one, she goes, what's the name of this one? And I was like, Billy Goat Acres, in other words I know how to spell it. She's just like, great. Okay. I was like,
congratulations.
Oh, but yeah. Like an internet clever boy. I'm like, I know, dude.
I get it.
I'm sick of myself.
No one's as annoyed by this as I am.
Dude, like that fifth one that I did, it was cool. It was a solo one because I didn't do it with Raj. Yeah, mostly, but I was so fucking sick of myself. Like even I'm writing again now. Yeah, but it's just like you get to this point sometimes where you're just like, oh my god, like can you just stop talking? Like it's like five EPs like written, recorded, and released within like.
Which is what they say. Which is what all these corporate overlords say you should be doing. By the way, oh, well, you need to be releasing music all the time. Oh, do I?
Totally.
Okay.
And I understand it sucks because it's like whatever those were was completely artistic. Like I wanted to write myself out of some kind of rut and like, with Macy not being around and like what am I doing like with kind of making stuff? And I did that. And people were like, oh, cool. Did you go to fucking Hotshot McGee's webinar about this? And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah. Like you're supposed to like produce content. And I'm like, what's content? Like those songs. I'm like, all right, I'm not doing this. But the self-titled thing was just I don't want to have something that's tied to the grief thing. I don't want to have to explain that. I'm gonna have to talk anyway. So it's like just fucking there it is, whatever. Like it's because it's I'm you know what it's like naming shit and having to talk about it and then it's like oh. So it's kind of hard because I'd much rather just kind of joke around and make light of it instead of like, oh, my father was dying of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it's like, oh, stop. So
what you're doing is you're getting across emotionality without being like overt about it, or we live in these like nuanceless times. I always people love idols, and it's like they want to hear a song about I want to punch the fascists in the face. Okay, well I appreciate directness as well, but I also Like sometimes it's nice to leave a little something to the imagination. But
Yeah,
okay,
and
I get it.
I mean, the thing is like especially with this one, it's just like once you release it, it's like I don't own it. I have nothing to do with it anymore.
Yeah.
It's not like some kind of like spiritual thing. It's just like you just don't have. People can do whatever they want. They can listen to it or not, or interpret it, or whatever they want to do with it. It's fine. So
well, and that's part of the process too, right? Once the music leaves your head, it's already compromised.
Yeah, and I like that because then there's always another song to write or something. So it's like so it's very fun. The solo title has been fucking hilarious, especially with like music people like you who really dig music because they're like, oh, Led Zeppelin or something. I'm like, what does that mean? Didn't they name 4 of their records Led Zeppelin? I was like, I don't. There's something very coded with the self-titled record.
There really is. Yeah,
it's crazy because people are like, oh, like people get like defensive. Or like, really? And I'm like, it's literally for me not wanting to hear myself talk anymore.
That's great. That's great. That's like that's the most like. That's the most Ryan Christopher Parks answer ever.
Good. Great.
So it's a good thing it's you saying it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, dude, it's a great record, whatever the hell you call it. Awesome. One of my favorites of the year.
Thanks for giving it a spin. We'll get it on vinyl soon and get you one. So
I'll first in line, man,
Absolutely.
so to speak.
I think it'll be a very good record, like on vinyl.
I agree.
That's what it's made for. So
I've clocked a lot of listens on it, and like I said, I enjoy all the records.
Awesome.
But it's definitely there's something real special about this one that I hope people give it the time of day, like anything that's good. You
awesome.
know what I mean?
I appreciate it. Love the new record too. It's
Thanks, bud.
Once again, it's like a sideways rectangle of rock and roll. Just like we're going there.
This is what we're doing.
There's no sitars or
strap in, fucker.
Yeah.
Turns out it's a rock record.
We're here. We're going there. Fuck off.
Exactly. Well, my dude, always appreciated, and I have not seen you play live with Ian yet. I hope to rectify that. I don't know, before we all die.
Yeah, next week.
That'd be nice.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out.
Will do.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, and then until next time.
Cool. Talk soon. Bye.
There he goes, Ryan Christopher Parks. I'm gonna play us out here. We can do Goodfoot.
Darkness
All right, there you go. Good Foot.
Is this thing on?
B. Hamilton off the self-titled B. Hamilton record, which is great. It's like their fourth, I think, if I remember right. Really like it. Strong contender for album of the year for me. We're going to mention that when Ryan was online, but I'm mentioning it now. So check it out. It's link for it in the show notes. Go get it on Bandcamp, direct support, blah, blah, blah. You know the vibes. So I'd like to thank Ryan Christopher Parks for coming on the show yet again. Appreciate that, dude. And I'd like to thank you for listening. The show is called Protonic Reversal. Thank you so much for listening to it. This airs normally Thursdays, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. Holiday schedule, you know, those are the vibes. Always streaming live and available for free, protonicreversal.com for the archives. No ads, no sponsors, no kidding. But if you want to support the show, which would be very important to do right now, patreon.com/protonicreversal, $1 a month.
We come to the close of our broadcast day.
Advance access, that helps keep the lights on around here and helps keep the ball moving, so to speak.
Farewell transmission.
So consider doing that if you don't already. Get off the pulpit on that. Thank you for everyone for liking, subscribing to your platform of choice, leaving nice comments. Mostly nice comments. All that helps people discover the show
The sound of my voice.
and beats back the almighty algorithm. So appreciate that. Reviews, too, as silly as that may seem.
I've got
You know. But you got a negative opinion, keep it yourself.
50,000 watts of power.
A bunch of really cool stuff coming up. Some of which I'll eventually be able to reveal.
I wanna ionize
But
the
let's
air.
watch this space. The Japan, the tour roundup episodes are coming. Just give me some time. I'm getting back at this. All right, is that it? I think that's it.
Microphone turns
Stay safe out
sound
there.
into electricity.
And as always,
Can you hear me now?
check you later.
Out on Route 128, in the dark and lonely. I got my radio on. Can you hear me now? 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 In the radio. And that snare drum and that drum roll means we've got a winner. If you're the fifth caller, or any caller at all, welcome to my top 10. I'd like to thank our sponsor. But we haven't got a sponsor. Not if you were the last man on earth. She was prepared to prove it. This one goes out to a special girl. There is no special girl. It's the end of radio. The last announcer plays the last record. The last what? Leaves the transmitter. Circles the globe in search of a listener. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Is it really broadcasting if there's no one there to receive? It's the end of radio. As we come to the close of our broadcast day, got my radio